Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Homage to the fully enlightened Buddha, the worthy one, supremely enlightened Buddha. Dear friends in Dhamma, today I would like to discuss with you something always stand like a barrier, like something stop us from our progress. So there are 5 barriers. These barriers are not physical barriers. You might imagine and guess that these are physical barriers. No, these are mental barriers. Buddha has explained these 5 barriers as Pancha Nivarana. Pancha means 5, Nivarana means hindrances or obstacles on our path to worldly progress and also spiritual progress. So these 5 hindrances will obstruct and hinder and stop our progress, especially if you are a meditator, if you are trying to achieve the enlightenment, the eradication of defilements. Definitely these 5 hindrances will become very big obstacles on our path to enlightenment, on our path to wisdom. Not only that, as human beings, we are always struggling, we are always trying to achieve something for our life, for educationally, perhaps in your career wise. We are always trying to achieve something in our life. You are trying to gain resources, wealth and other materials for the success of your life. So in your journey of success, if you are going forward for a journey of success, these 5 hindrances will definitely block your way, stop your way. The first one is mentioned in Pali as Kama Chanda, the desire for sensual pleasures. We are always pleasure seeking beings. Buddha said, Sukha Kamani Bhutani. As human beings, we always seek happiness, seek pleasure, seek pleasant experiences in our day-to-day life. It is okay for lay people to seek pleasure, enjoyment, merrymaking and be happy. But if you are too attached to pleasures, if you are seeking pleasures too much, that will create kind of imbalance, create kind of you cannot focus your aims or your goals, because you are obsessed, you are possessed or overwhelmed by these sensual desires. So, for example, we want to gratify our eyes, gratify our nose, gratify our ears and tongue and body and the mind. So, this is a very thing that obstructs. Let us say Buddha one time, one Brahmin, he is a very educated, well versed in Veda. Veda is kind of a Indian Hindu tradition. They had a huge amount of knowledge. They had 4 great Vedas. So he was well versed in these 4 Vedas. He can remember and recollect and recite these Vedas by memory. But he come to the Buddha and told the Buddha, we are Brahmins, we always used to chant and recite mantras and perform rituals based on Vedas and yogas. So we sometimes, even though we practice so hard, even though we practice so well, but still we cannot remember or recollect these mantras and other Veda recitations. Then he asked why this is happening to us. Then Buddha said the five nivaranas, the pancha nivaranas, 5 hindrances are one of the major reason for our memory loss. Buddha says it weakens our wisdom, and these hindrances weakens our wisdom, and not only that, these hindrances weakens our memory, the recollective power, the ability to recollect and retrieve information is totally destroyed by too much attachment to sensual pleasures, and anger, and also restlessness or the tina midda, and also Uddhachaku kucha, the and also vichikicha, the doubt. So these 5 hindrances obstruct. So Buddha gave a very nice simile example about the kama chanda. Normally those days people used to see their faces through kind of a water container where they put the clear and nice water in a container and use as a mirror, because those days mirrors were not so readily available. So when you are seeing your face through the this water container, you can see it so clearly as you are seeing it in the mirror. But if this water container is mixed with a different colors such as red color, blue color, kind of powder or some kind of paints, or brown color or black color, you can, even though you just pop into this water container, you cannot see your face, you cannot recognize your face clearly, cannot see your face clearly, because these are obstructing the view. So when our mind is deluded and overwhelmed and possessed by the desire, sensual desire, it is very difficult for us to concentrate. We lose our concentration. Though when we lose our concentration, we become very restless, and also we cannot continue. For example, you might see your son or daughter is reading a book or studying very hard on the study table, but in fact that son or daughter, she or he might be thinking something else. Maybe he is remunerate some feelings or about some desire or something about their games or playing or watching some drama. So they are thinking in their mind. If you look from outside, outwardly, you can see that child is reading like the book, but their mind is somewhere else. Mind is so preoccupied, then they cannot concentrate on the studies. That is why we need to, Buddha always encourage us to control our mind. So why this undesirable or uncontrollable sensual desires arise in our mind every moment? It is a continuous and unstoppable process. Our mind is always thinking from morning to night. Even when you are bed, even as soon as we got up, our mind is always thinking mode. So it is natural that even we are trying to study, we are trying to focus on our job, our mind is thinking something else, thinking some pleasurable thing you want to gain in future or next day or this evening or next evening. So, this kind of desires, sensual pleasures arise in our mind. So, that is why we need to pay close attention to our mind. Buddha says in Satipatthana Sutta that it is called Chittanapasana. If you can be aware of your thoughts and emotions and stream of your consciousness, what kind of thoughts are arising in your mind. For example, if you can identify and also if you can recognize the arising of sensual pleasures then and there, when it is arises in your mind, you are readily accepted and you can readily recognize it. So, without further development of this thought process, it will help us to reduce the effects of these sensual desires. Because in our mind there is a nature, once you can cognize or recognize the thought, it cannot further proliferate, it cannot further develop or further spread, because in the mind we cannot have wrong thought and good thought together. So, if you as soon as you recognize the good thought in your mind, it will not further spread or develop into like a strong current in your mind. So, this is why then if you can see further in your mind, if you can see and identify and recognize note in your mind that the arisen sensual pleasures, the desire for sensual pleasures is passing away, and also when you can see when there is no presence of sensual desire in your mind, if you can notice. So, these are the techniques really works in our mind, really useful for controlling our mind. This is a really good tool we can use to understand how our mind is working. So, we can become our own psychologist, we can become our own solver of our problems, because most of our problems arising from our mind. Those are mind created. So, the Buddha said we must consider as color water, so that if your mind is colored with so many desires, you cannot focus on your studies, focus on your jobs. And sometimes children sit down under the television with the intention of just watch one episode or one drama, but they will continue to change the channels, change the programs and watching until late in the night, so that they do not have time to study. So, that is why it is very important to recognize our desires, then control them, so that we can succeed in our studies, succeed in our jobs, succeed in our careers. The third second defilement or second hindrances Buddha explain is called Vyapada. Vyapada is very common in us. Vyapada means anger or kind of resentment, kind of hatred arising in our mind. It is natural. When we do not get what we want, we get angry. And also not only that, there is 10 kinds of anger explained in Buddhism. One is called Dasa Agatuka Vastu. That means you angry with some person because he show enmity or anger in the past, present and future. So, there are 3 kinds of anger. Then your enemy also cause damage and harmful things to your friends and families and relatives in the past, in the present and future. And also your enemies support your enemies in the past, in the present and future. So, then the instant angers arising in our mind. These are the 10 kinds of anger. So, Buddha said anger is like the boiling water in a water container. So, if our mind is boiling and hissing or seething with the thoughts of anger, we cannot see anything clearly. We cannot make good decisions when we are very angry. So, Buddha said it is like boiling water. If you want to see the bottom of the water container, when water is boiling, you cannot see, because it is steaming and also boiling. So, and Buddha said, if you want to take revenge when you are angry, it is like Buddha said, if you are trying to throw away a coal, a burning coal, red glowing burning coal to your enemy, hold him from your hand. The moment you hold the boiling coal or boiling or burning or glowing iron bar from your hand, who will get burned first? The person is holding that boiling or burning coal or boiling burning iron bar. The one who touch it will get definitely their hand get burned. So, the one who try to hit someone with a excreta or with the boiling or burning coal, the one who try to do it, he is the one first get injured. That is why Buddha said, we need to control the anger. Anger is not a healthy emotion, it is a harmful emotion for our mental and bodily health, because it creates a kind of imbalance, and we even if you try to study while you are very angry, you cannot study. If you try to sleep while you are angry, also you can't sleep, because your anger is so strong and there is no peace in your mind, you cannot sleep. So, therefore, Buddha said the vyapada or the anger is not a good emotion, it is a bad emotion. Therefore, we must curtail and control and stop. Again we can use the Chittanapasana, seeing our thoughts and emotion, we can control anger, because moment anger is arising in your mind, you can notice, you can make a note in your mind, okay, anger is in my mind now, anger is boiling now, anger is getting increased and anger is getting worse and worse in our mind. If the anger is getting less and less in your mind, also you can notice. So, it is a very good tool we have. If you can look your mind, it will help you to control this kind of angry thoughts in your mind. So, Buddha says you have to have wise attention. So, these hindrances arises in our mind, all these 5 hindrances arises in our mind, because we do not have yoniso manasikara. Yoniso manasikara means wise attention. Your attention is there with your mind, you can recognize whatever arising in your mind, you can make note, you can understand, you can realize, and you can control by paying attention to the kind of thoughts arising in your emotions arising in your mind. So, the third hindrances explained in Pancha Nivarana is called Thina Midda. Thina Midda is called sloth and torpor. So, you know, the laziness, inactivity, mental sluggishness, or without enough energy. You do not have enough energy to initiate or continue or accomplish your goals. So, this happens easily when you take too much food. Normally, if we take too much food, you become lethargic and you become very lazy. So, when you become very lethargic and lazy, you do not have energy. So, Buddha says, in order to have energy, we must create thoughts of energy in our mind, such as you must need to create lights in your mind. You can imagine the lights around you and lights inside your mind, so that bright situation, so you can avoid some of the laziness. And not only that, Buddha said that you must arouse the manly strength, manly energy, manly exertion, Purisa Bala, Purisa Tama, Purisa Vayama, manly strength, manly energy, manly exertion. This is also applicable to women as well, even though I use the manly, it is applicable to both genders. So, therefore, we need to exercise these energies, arouse these energies. One time Buddha's disciple Moggallana was meditating. Actually, he, after realizing the first stage of enlightenment, after having listened to the Assaji Thero, he tried to meditate over 7 days, period of 7 days without sleeping. So, continuously he meditated very hard. So, still he could not realize. So, he was nodding and he was feeling drowsy, and Buddha saw that he couldn't concentrate, and he was having a very sleepy time and nodding, and he is feeling drowsy. Then Buddha come and ask, Moggallana, are you drowsy? Why are you nodding? Then he said, yes, Bhante, I am nodding. And Buddha said, when you are having this kind of lazy feelings, you must think of lights, and you must try to massage your face, you must try to wash your face, or you can walk up and down. It's called Chankamana, walking meditation. And if all these fails, when you must sleep, and you must sleep with the intention of getting up, okay, I will get up at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, something like that, then you can go to sleep with the awareness in your process. And Buddha said that this kind of mentality is like the moss on the water. If there is a moss or water plants on the water, you cannot see the bottom of the water, you cannot see the face of your face. So, similarly, when this kind of laziness is covered your mind, you do not have energy, you are very energyless person, very lazy person, lethargic person, then you cannot achieve your goals. So, this is a hindrance for spiritual development as well as material and physical development. Then the third one is called Uddhachaku. It is called restlessness, aimlessness, or our mind is scattered around, because this restlessness can arise in our mind if you don't concentrate very well, and also you worry about the past, you worry about the future. Now, of course, we are having a very hard time in Sri Lanka, and also very hard time all over the world due to the wars and pandemic and other economic crises. So, people are really worried. They are worried about the future, they are worried about their present situation, economic situation. So, if you are worried too much, you cannot take a good decision, and also your mind always scattered. When your mind is always scattered, you cannot succeed your works, you cannot succeed your education. So, therefore, Buddha says it is good to do meditation so that you can concentrate, increase your level of concentration so that your mental energy is harnessing. Because if you are try to always your thoughts are everywhere, you cannot work with the mind, you do not have a working mind. So, Buddha says it is like a waves over the like wheelful, where water is where a strong wind come, then the waves began to arise in the water. So, it is like waves in the mind. So, the last one is called Vichikicha. Vichikicha is doubt. Self confidence is very important thing in our life. If you do not have self confidence, even you can't walk, even you can ride a bicycle. So, therefore, Buddha says the Vichikicha, the fear, the doubt is not good thing, because we have fear or the doubt always. Sometimes when we are searching the roads or something, when we are doing certain things, we have doubt whether I can succeed, whether I will not be succeed, this kind of doubts. So, doubt is not good for our mind. If you cannot face the problem with the confidence, that will hinder your development. Therefore, the Buddha said these 5 hindrances are very important in our daily life as well as in our spiritual life. If you are meditating, then the doubts also, the doubts about the teachings of the Buddha, doubts about the virtues, the values, and if you have these kind of doubts, that will disturb your lifestyle. Therefore, Buddha said it is very important for us to develop self-confidence and self-reliance, that nowadays of course we might not get the things we want. So, we might feel lonely, we might feel very helpless. So, therefore, it is very important for us to develop confidence in the Buddha, confidence in the Dhamma, confidence in the Buddha's teaching and his followers. And we must follow the path with confidence. And we must do whatever we are doing, we must do it with the confidence, so that we can succeed our education, our jobs, our careers, and whatever we are doing. So, therefore, friends, today we discuss the values of 5 hindrances. You know, these hindrances are obstacles for our spiritual path, also great obstacles for our material and worldly gains. So, therefore, friends, let us try to overcome these 5 hindrances and build up a very successful life for our journey, so that our life, when we look back our life, we can be very happy. I have achieved so many things in our life, I have helped so many people on my way to success. May the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha bless you, guide you and protect you. Namo Buddhaya.